When most people think about the RMS Titanic, their image of the event is shaped by films, especially iconic productions, like Titanic. Please subscribe. These films are powerful, emotional, and visually unforgettable. They bring the story to life in a way that captures attention and imagination. But like all films, they focus on certain elements while leaving others in the background. Beyond the scenes we recognize, there are stories that movies didn't show, stories that add depth, complexity, and a more complete understanding of what happened. One of the biggest differences between cinematic storytelling and reality is the number of perspectives involved. Films often follow a limited set of characters, allowing audiences to connect with a focused narrative. In reality, the Titanic carried over 2,000 people, each with their own experience. These individual stories cannot all fit into a single storyline, which means many are left untold. Among these are the experiences of third-class passengers. While films sometimes touch on their presence, the full range of their journeys is often simplified. These passengers came from different countries, backgrounds, and circumstances. For many, the voyage represented a major transition in life. Their experiences during the disaster were shaped by their location on the ship, their access to information, and the challenges of navigating an unfamiliar environment. Crew members also represent a group whose stories are not always fully explored in films. Beyond the visible roles, there were individuals working in engineering, maintenance, and support positions, people who operated behind the scenes. Their responsibilities were essential to the functioning of the ship, and during the disaster, they played key roles in managing the situation. Their stories are often less visible but equally important. Another aspect that films tend to simplify is the flow of information during the event. In movies, events are often presented with clarity and structure, guiding the audience through a sequence of moments. In reality, the situation was far more uncertain. Information was incomplete, sometimes inconsistent, and constantly evolving. People made decisions based on what they knew at the time, not on the full picture that we have today. The role of communication is another area where reality differs from film. Wireless operators were sending and receiving messages, trying to maintain connections with other ships. These efforts were critical, yet they were happening in a complex environment where timing, interpretation, and technical limitations all played a role. This layer of the story is often condensed or simplified in cinematic versions. There are also quieter moments that films may not fully capture, moments of waiting, uncertainty, and reflection. Not every part of the event was dramatic or fast-paced. Some experiences were defined by stillness, by the passage of time, and by the gradual realization of what was happening. These moments are harder to portray on screen, but they are an important part of the overall story. Another difference lies in the way outcomes are presented. Films often build toward clear emotional conclusions, focusing on resolution and closure. In reality, the aftermath of the sinking of the RMS Titanic was ongoing. Survivors carried their experiences forward. Investigations were conducted, and understanding developed over time. The story did not end when the ship sank. It continued in many different forms. It is important to recognize that films are not meant to be complete historical records. They are interpretations, designed to tell a story in a way that engages audiences. They capture the essence of the event, but not every detail. The stories that are left out are not less important. They are simply part of a larger picture that extends beyond the screen. Looking back, exploring the stories that movies didn't show allows us to see the RMS Titanic from a different perspective. It adds layers to our understanding, reminding us that history is complex and multifaceted. It also highlights the difference between storytelling and reality. Both have value, but they serve different purposes. One engages the imagination, the other seeks to preserve accuracy and detail. More than a century later, the Titanic continues to be remembered through both film and history. By looking beyond what is shown on screen, we gain a deeper appreciation of the event, not just as a dramatic story, but as a collection of real experiences. In the end, the stories that movies didn't show are not missing. They are waiting to be explored, to be understood, to be remembered. Because the real story of the RMS Titanic is bigger than any single film, and it continues to unfold with every new perspective we discover.